Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're hanging out with Dr. Jay LaGuardia. Jay has dedicated over 30 years of his life teaching people about the importance of finding balance in their family, fitness, and finances so they can empower their dreams, ignite their passions, and accelerate their prosperity. Through his coaching, speaking, and writings, he teaches about the importance of adopting the habits and rituals of an empowering mindset, healthy lifestyle, and belief in something bigger than yourself. He's passionate about sharing the tools and tactics that can unlock your true potential as a human. Dr. J is a successful entrepreneur, chiropractor, consultant, speaker, philanthropist, best-selling author of Change Your Mind, Change Your Destiny, and the host of Power, Passion, Prosperity Podcast. He loves alliteration. So does Hanna Hermanson. So we're so excited that you are with us today, straight from, up north. Good old Wisconsin land you're in. We love that.
Up north, eh?
You betcha. Yeah, we were just chatting. I was like, yeah, it's a warm day here in Mexico. He was like, it's a warm day here in Wisconsin. And I was like, I know exactly what you're talking about. So good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to share with you, have a conversation, and maybe offer some insights and knowledge to your audience. So yeah, I'm just really excited. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we would love that. So one of my first questions for you is around your journey or your evolution from doctor of chiropractic, chiropractic practitioner, something in that world to then, moving online to entrepreneurship and personal development. So was this something that you saw as a big vision, or are you kind of more of that accidental entrepreneur?
It's a great question. I always knew I was going to be entrepreneurial even before the word was cool, a long time ago. I just knew that, in fact, when I was 12, I had my own business. I was landscaping for neighbors and cutting grass and shoveling snow and things like that. I was just always a hustler. And so I always had that vision for myself that was something that I was going to do. However, what that was going to look like remained to be seen. I was originally going to pursue music as a career, as I had an opportunity to audition for the Juilliard School of Music. But one of my really core values, even as an 18-year-old, I understand one of my top core values was family. And the music business is not conducive to having a really strong family life, especially back then when there was a lot of live acts and bands as far as playing clubs and stuff. So I chose healthcare because I was big in sports and always wanted to help people. And so originally I was going to be an orthopedic surgeon, and I was in preparation to take my MCATs. And I got hurt playing football. And unfortunately, the training staff and the doctors, I just wasn't getting much results. And my parents had suggested, my mother had suggested I go see her chiropractor. I'd never heard of it, didn't know what it was about. And at this point, I didn't really care. If he could help me get back on the field, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And I went, saw him. It was phenomenal. Had a great experience. Got back on the field and started to play again. But it was probably a year or so after that, I was coming out of a biochem lab one night, and I saw him, the chiropractor, at the local college. He was doing what we call a lay lecture. He was teaching about the principles of chiropractic and natural health. So I sat down and I listened. And at that moment, I decided this is what I was going to do because it resonated with what my beliefs are. It's funny, right? We really don't know what our beliefs until we have more experiences and we get exposed to different ideas and concepts. We go, oh, yeah, I resonate with that. That's who I am.
Yeah.
And so much of this, I went home, told my mother, yeah, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be an orthopedic surgeon, be a chiropractor. And that kind of started the journey.
Wow. Yeah. And I love how the dots connect in hindsight, right? Some people listening to that story could be like, music, football, surgery, like so random. But I love how you're able to recognize that common thread of values, right?
Yes.
That family, people, health, helping others was really that common thread. And I can see that. And acknowledge that in a lot of folks that have come from a sports or a like health and nutrition background, that it makes a whole lot of sense to move into coaching, because as much as we can do the drills and align the muscles, like for me, teaching yoga, like there's that big brain of the muscle. And I'm curious if that big muscle of the brain. And I'm curious for you in, your work as a chiropractor, were there elements of that physical practice that inspired you to move into the profession of coaching along the way?
Yeah, like anything, it was part of the journey. When I first started in business, I was a good clinician, but I was off purpose. I had a business, but had no idea how to run a business. And so, through trials and tribulations, I turned my mess into my message. The pain and struggle I went through to trying to create a business that, that attracted wonderful talent and people who wanted to follow a mission and who wanted to serve and be a part of something bigger than themselves. I had no clue to how to create that. I knew that's what you were supposed to do, but I was more focused on, I'll be honest, how do I make money? I came out of school, I had a lot of student loan debt. I just had gotten married. We had a baby, we had another one on the way. So to me, it was all about money. And one of the core principles and core beliefs that has helped me for the rest of my life, as I learned shortly thereafter, is when you take care of people according to their needs, your needs will be met. So start focusing on creating value and helping people get results, and then the money begins to flow to you. And most people have that backwards. It's the be, do, have. Become who you need to become. Do what you need to do, and then you get what you want. Most people have it backwards. I want this, and then when I get this, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
a lot of that
big carrot that we're all chasing, right? Like, oh, well, once I have the money, then I'll do the philanthropy. And once I have the time, then I'll be the family person.
That's right.
And I hear this so often, and I definitely did the same thing in my first few years of business until the Zig Ziglar quote really stuck with me, which is, when you help enough other people get what they want, you get what you want. And man, that's hard to hear when it is about money, because you don't have any. It's like, don't tell me it's about, like values and like mindset and certain. No, I just like, what is the tactic? How do I get idea to dollar to like money in the bank? And so I always appreciate, other folks who have had that same experience and that realization that it really does start to click when you come from a true place of service.
Yeah, absolutely. And the mindset component of it is, we have seminal moments in life. And during my struggle, a good buddy of mine had said, "Hey, Jay, I just started working with this business coach. I think it'd be worth for you to have a conversation." And so I set up this call. We had this conversation, and he told me, "So what's going on with your business?" And I proceeded for about 5 minutes to tell him everything that was going wrong, but all of it was outside myself, right? None of it I owned. It was these people were wrong. These employees, they won't stay. Patients won't pay, insurance, whatever the complaint was, whatever the excuse was. And at the conclusion of that, it really felt very cathartic. I feel like I got it off my chest for the first time, and the line went dormant. It was like, I actually thought he hung up. I bored the hell out of him. He just hung up. And I said, "You still there?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "I know what your problem is." And I was like, awesome. Finally, somebody's going to tell me what I need to do to get this business going. And he said something to me that changed my life forever. He said, "Jay, your business and your life is waiting for a leader to show up. And it's not you." It was the first time somebody had held me accountable for the decisions I made.
Wow.
It was the first time I held myself accountable and looked, everything that was in my life was the result of the choices and the thoughts that I had. And that began the journey of self-introspection, self-reflection, and personal growth.
Yeah.
And that was the precipice, the foundation, which has led into, I've started 6 seven-figure companies. At one point we had 13 different businesses. It all started because I worked on the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And, as the entrepreneur you are today, having created multiple 7-figure businesses, what are some of those takeaways, or what are some of those keys that you are now living in both in balancing both the business and the life? I'd love to know what you are finding works.
The first and foremost is you've got to work on you. I don't feel I will ever be a finished product. I think it's a lifelong pursuit. And once I understood that, and developed a certain, I call it my mental gymnastics, right? So I'm into fitness, but I also into mental wellness as well too. So each morning I have my 10X routine, and I can get into that in a minute, but my 10X routine. So every morning I prep myself for how I'm going to show up that day, the relationships I'm going to have, the conversations I'm going to have, the energy I'm going to bring, the thoughts I'm going to bring. Now, does it mean every day I have the perfect day? Hell no. No, it's just like anybody else. But I live consciously and intentionally, and I can shift or pivot on a dime. And I think one of the characteristics of successful people is the ability to shift and pivot as quickly as possible. Those who struggle get caught up in a certain emotion or energy, and it's a cascade, and they stay there for weeks, months. Sometimes they never get out of it, and then they become defined by that. That's their value source per se. So working on my physical well-being, so I have the energy and the drive and the determination, mental focus, so I show up the very, very best of myself, and making sure I nurture the most important relationships in my life, which is my relationship with God, my relationship with my family, my relationship with my partners, employees, and things like that. And if I take care of those three things, everything else is easy. And it doesn't mean, like, again, right, that you don't have stuff come up, but if all that stuff is going well, solutions are easily attainable.
Right. Yeah. I talk to my clients about getting out ahead of it. Like, there will be fires, there will be problems. That's great. And you got to spend just 5% of your energy on acknowledging them, and then 95% of your energy on creating solutions, rather than staying stuck in that problem, put out a fire, another problem type of thing. And I would love to hear more about this 10X routine, because I've definitely found for myself a morning routine, and that intention setting is the thing that helps me get out ahead of it, right? And show up to the fire or the problem with solutions instead of excuses or complaints.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And what I'm going to go over with you is I call my high performance. It's kind of the condensed version. So I like, if affordability, if the time's available, I'm usually between 20 minutes and 40 minutes. But if all I have is 10 minutes, in other words, the minimum I need is 10 minutes. And I said, if you can't give me 10 minutes, more importantly, if you can't invest in yourself for 10 minutes, then the rest of it is all show. You say you want to grow, you say you want these things in your life, but you're not willing to do the most important thing, is to develop and build you. So here's how it goes.
And if you can't find 10 minutes, delete Instagram and then come back and tell me you don't have 10 to 100 more minutes every day.
Yeah. Right. It comes down to priorities. What's most important to you? So if spending time online is more important than working on yourself, I have no answers for you. I really don't, So here's how it goes. So the first thing you do is you start by, I always have my journals here. I've got 2 or 3 laying around. But in the morning, I date it, and I put my 2 most important tasks that I need to complete today, that if these get done by the end of the day, are going to move me forward towards my goals. So I do quarterly goals, I do monthly goals, weekly goals. So I have 7 opportunities each week to complete, or actually 14, to complete and get me to my goal at the end of the week. So the 2 most important tasks, and I do it in priority. Number 1, number 2. I got to do 1 before I do 2.
Eat the frog.
Eat the frog.
Yes.
Exactly. Number 2 is I'm going to identify 3 things that I'm grateful for, because gratitude is going to put me in a consciousness and an emotional state where all abundance emanates from. Gratitude is the second strongest energy in the universe. And when you get present in gratitude, the universe has nothing but the ability to send more opportunity, growth, and abundance your way. So I give thanks for 3 things: someone, something, and something yet to come. Now, the someone is very simple. It could be a family member, it could be a client, it could be a business associate, it could be, I give thanks for the author I'm reading today, whatever it might be. Now, the something, right, could be just giving thanks for the opportunity to go out and serve and live my passion today. So this is really what's in your heart. And of course, something yet to come. And this is a key that I've never heard many other coaches talk about. Again, when you put forth into the universe what you already are thankful for that's coming your way, it comes your way 10x faster.
Mm-hmm. Law of attraction.
Absolutely. Now, the third step is I do a very brief meditation. It's 5 minutes. And I start with 3 deep breaths in, count of 4, hold for a count of 8, exhale for a count of 12. That slows my mindset down, closes me from alpha to theta in a meditative state, where the subconscious mind it's in its most autosuggestive form to begin to change limiting beliefs. So the one thing I do is I visualize on one thing that particular day, Hanna, one outcome I want to achieve. Sometimes it may be having that tough conversation with a partner or with how do I want that to go? How do I want to show up? What's the emotion and the energy do I want to bring to that situation? And it could be anything in your life that you visualize in that regard. So now that you know what it's already going to go like and how it's going to happen, right? I stay present in that energy for 5 minutes. And the last thing I do is I read my affirmation. In my first book, Change Your Mind, Change Your Destiny, I talk about the 8 habits of success. Number 7 is affirmations. An affirmation is a statement of purpose of what you are creating in your life. It doesn't necessarily mean you are it. In other words, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm abundant, and I attract great relationships. Whatever your affirmation might be, doesn't mean you are it. It means you're progressing towards it. And again, as you affirm it, you sink it into your subconscious mind. You create new neural linkages. In other words, one brain cell to another creates a pathway. The more you have that thought, the more that thought becomes dominant, the more that becomes your new belief system. 10 minutes to high performance, 10 minutes to great results, 70 minutes a week can reduce your output by 30 to 40% per week in negative energy.
Yep. Yeah. And again, it's like getting out ahead of it and owning what energy you want to bring to the day. And I love how focused that this is on day-to-day things. I tend to do visualizations and vision boards of things that I want to do 3 years from now. And those are much more difficult, action items, right? It's like, okay, how do I go from this dream house to like my 2 tasks for the day? So I love how specific this is. And I can see how doing this regularly, like bathing, really sets you up for a really powerful and productive and clear day, right? Because when we set big goals, it can feel overwhelming and far away. And this is a really powerful way to just, take those 10 to 40 minutes day by day, because that's really where change happens day by day.
I love how you brought that up because it's really important. We run a program each year called GPS to Success. So we help people formulate their big goals, right? But to focus each day on the big goal gets you out of the actions and behaviors you need to do to take one step forward. And I find when you chunk it down, like if I started working with someone, I say, hey, what's your 5-year plan? They don't even know what the hell they're doing tomorrow. So let's chunk it down first. Let's just think about the next step, because a lot of people can wrap their head around that. They can't wrap their head around a long-term vision. So we do a program to help people with the long-term vision, but the day-to-day is simply about getting stuff done to move the ball forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is where I know coaches will always have a role, because we can learn all of these tools and all of these frameworks and new technologies can come, and like all this opportunity and goals and dream life visualizations can happen. But when you want to be a go-getter, it can become really overwhelming, right? And it's that daily accountability, like you said, to that first coach who said, hey, we're waiting for a leader to show up. And that happens day by day. And so I just love, and I totally resonate with what you're saying. And I think there's another element, like you said, like a program or a coach or someone who can say, and this is the next right step, or this is the next action to stay in consistently.
Yeah, accountability is so important. And oftentimes we're not very good at holding ourselves accountable. That's why the second of the 8 success habits is mentorship. Having that person who loves you in a non-judgmental way, who's willing to pat you on the back or kick you in the tail, depending on what you need when you need it. And we all need that if we're truly going to be successful. I have found, Hanna, and really, it's really affirmed itself more so in the past year, success is a team journey.
Mm-hmm.
The individual journey will only get you so far.
Yep.
Only get you so far.
Yeah, 100%. And I also took a while to figure this out because I'm a self-proclaimed introvert and doer and independent person, right? And I decided 2021, my word or my intention for the year was going to be collaboration. So one of my frogs every day was to make a new connection, whether it was a new podcast or a new outreach or a new Instagram conversation. And I don't even know where to start with how that simple shift of not me, but we has completely changed the ease with which I work. It's that key for me to, working smarter, not harder type of thing, because it's that built-in accountability, right? There's people waiting for me on the other side of the screen. There's a team like waiting for that thing to get done. And, of course, mentorship helped me realize this and get to this place where I'm even open to collaboration being such a key to how I work and, my vision of success right now. So I'm curious, you've really sparked my interest here in the 8, I know you have a new book coming out, but would you be willing to break down kind of the change your mind, change your destiny? Is that where the 8 keys are in that book? All right, so we have mentorship is number 2. What's number 1?
Number one is the art of dreaming. As we get older, it's funny. I remember, I don't know what your age is, but I remember when I was around your age, I remember looking at older people and just saying to myself, how cynical so many older people get. And then as I got older, I kind of saw myself getting cynical. So wait, cynicism is a choice, but why do we get cynical? Well, I think we get cynical on life in general because we get detached from dreaming and thinking about what's possible in the life. Just because you're 50 or 60 or 70 doesn't mean you should stop dreaming and have ambitions and goals and desires. Because as soon as you start doing that, or as soon as you do that, you're done, right? You're just living the string, baby.
Yeah.
You're just marking the days until the Undertaker comes and gets you.
Yeah.
So,
my dad says if you're not learning or failing, you're dead.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
yes.
If you're not pushing yourself, if you're not doing anything new, like you said, you're just kind of waiting for your number to be called, which is cynical perhaps, but I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And so getting connected with the dreams within inside us, kids dream without any judgment. They don't care if, I think of my own kids, they play dress up. My son would be a girl and my daughters would be, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, they don't care. They're just having fun. They're doing their thing. They're just being, having their own fantasies. I think it's important to do that. Of course, as I mentioned, mentorship, the art of collaborating with, I love your word, right? With other like-minded people or people who are already further along on the journey that you want to be on, who will help you, because my experience is leaders are more than willing to step out and help others on their journey, because I can't tell you how many helped me. And I just love helping people. Number 3 is being authentic. Authenticity is another aspect of the true self. Don't conform to what others or society or culture says you should be. You be you. Just be the best you. Right? And that's where you find your true passions. I find with people who have a challenge, identifying, like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. And I find because they're not living their path. They're living a path chosen by them.
My mom told me I can't do this, and I wasn't very good at this the first time I attempted it. So yeah. So I love this word. It means a lot to me, authenticity. And so I'm understanding your definition is just being you, like free to be.
Yes. Without judgment, self-judgment or accepting judgment from others.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think society, we've come a long way to that. I think it's good. And, but we need to do more of it. Number 4 is gratitude. We chatted a little bit about that already. Number 5 is core values. I've often said the number 1 source of stress in your life is when we live incongruent with our core values. Now, our core values can be inherent. In other words, we all have a core value of safety. We all want to feel safe and secure. We have a core value of love. So you can kind of move those off because those are inherent. Those are born with us. But a core value could be, obviously, we mentioned family. It's always in my top 5. Now, some years it could be 1, especially when my kids were younger and, now they're gone and they're grown. They have their own families and stuff. So it's still in my top 5, but it's not number 1. Fitness is always in my top because it's important to me to walk my walk. It's important to me to have the energy and to be good examples to others. And also because I teach this stuff. So what is at your core? If I was to cut you, what do you believe? Do you believe family? Do you believe travel? Do you believe integrity? Do you believe discipline? What do you believe? And once you identify those core values, here's the cool part. It becomes easier moving forward to make big life decisions because you simply have to judge that life decision based on your top core values. Does it align with my core values or doesn't it?
Yeah. It's that GPS maybe. I know you use that acronym.
It's exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. And then number 6 is meditation. Again, chat a little bit about that. Again, all of us, I don't care who you are, we all have stuff, right? I call it rocks. People call it limiting beliefs. And they tend to be the largest obstacles from people achieving their dreams. In fact, in most cases, they become the obstacle for people not even to start pursuing their dreams because they don't believe they're smart enough or talented enough or attractive enough or whatever the enough is. We have 60,000 thoughts a day on average, and 80% of them are negative. So nearly 50,000 times a day, we're disempowering our own, ability to succeed by telling ourselves what we're not good at and what we can't do. Yeah. So meditation is a really important part to rewire the subconscious mind. Affirmations, as I mentioned. And then, of course, once you have all this set now kind of figured out, now it's time to set goals because you've got clarity. You've been dreaming again, right? Yeah. You know who you are. You've got a pretty good understanding of what your core values are. Now go for it. Yes. Set those goals and pursue your dreams.
So much in there. And I love how it all connects back to that 10X routine. If you can give yourself that outlet and that clarity to show up with intention and know that what you're working towards has like purpose, that has totally changed my life from when I was doing goal setting without everything we just talked about. And it was like, I'm going to be this because I just decide, like someone told me, or I see someone else doing it, or like, I'm supposed to want that much money. Right. And when I was doing it, comparing to everyone else's highlight reel, it was no fun. It wasn't working. I was burning out my relationships. And like you said, when you do the work on yourself and you give yourself the space to uncover what actually matters to you, how you actually want to be and operate in the world, things have definitely unfolded for me, like I said, with a lot more ease than the other way around.
That's fantastic. It really is. I'm excited for you. And what breaks my heart is I don't think people truly understand that life is meant to be lived. It's not a passive experience. And that requires us to get uncomfortable as often as possible, to challenge ourselves, to push ourselves. And if you haven't done that in a while, you're really missing out on the joys of life, because it's those experiences where we have breakthroughs, where we have cool experiences and we meet great people and we go cool places and, we transform in a way in which we never go back to who we were before. It's like the balloon, right? When you blow it up, it never goes back to its original shape.
Right.
So it truly is the breath of air that shifts you in a permanent manner. So
yeah,
if it's one message I can leave is today, for everyone is challenge yourself more. You'll be grateful you did so.
Oh, so good. What a beautiful bow tie on this gift you've given us here today. So where can listeners continue this conversation with you or pick up your books even? Where's the best way to get in contact?
Yeah, I appreciate it once again for having me on. It's been fun. Gosh, it really went really fast. You know, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. It's simple at Dr. J LaGuardia, and I'm not on Twitter, but all those other sites or social media platforms I am. You could follow also. Our website is PowerPassionProsperity.com, all one word, PowerPassionProsperity. It's our site for our podcast, which should also be found on any of your favorite podcasting apps. We've been podcasting for 3 years, and it really is, it's geared towards, helping people empower their dreams, ignite their passion, accelerate their prosperity in business and finance and health and relationships. So it's stuff like this. It's experts and so on and so forth. And then I'd be happy to share a link where they can get the first couple of chapters of our new book for free, so they can check it out. And that link is thetripleplife.com/kickoff 2021.
2021. We'll make sure we have that 4P link in the show notes here, because that is such a gift to get to redeem a few chapters, because even this short conversation, I know we've gotten so many takeaways from you, Jay. So really appreciate all those offers. And I, again, appreciate your time and generosity today.
Thank you, Hanna. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll be back next week with another inspiring guest that will help you make your dream life your real life.